Busting the world's oldest conspiracy by revealing the first writers' formats in the Bible. Have you ever wondered who is editing the Bible? These are some of the words written by the 1611 King James translators that are wrote in its preface. They state 4 reasons how anyone can re-edit the text in the Bible. Their third reason is by the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next arrow down points to them writing, a great clerk, Gregory, is the divine, spelt with a capital D. At the bottom, they will tell you by studying the Bible, your reward is to have a participation in a heavenly nature. Whereas the Bible's words should be telling you how to be obedient to our Creator to enter into heaven. Now you know by their own words, they are not the good guys editing the Bible. Here, let me show you the 12 commandments that are listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Surprising, isn't it? Now let me show you how I changed one word in Exodus chapter 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and now you know that these planks make the hip roof for the tent for meeting for Yahweh. Why did I just use 2 letters for our Creator's name? Well, Hebrews did not have the letters J, O, or W in their language. Therefore, I am closer when I say the letters YV in English than anyone else. It is better to learn how to pronounce these 2 letters in Hebrew. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times, and these videos are my recording of how and why I am re-editing their text. Then all these books that I am editing will be made into one book in order. In my YouTube description, it has our Creator's hidden formats in a PDF of the same text. In fact, it is a message to everyone today and in the future. I have also made many different styles from these hidden formats for copyright reasons. All right, now what I'm doing here for those that are new, I'm finding the hidden formats in the Hebrew text. I use the 1977 NSAB because I have a little nice Bible program here that I can have some assistance with. And what I also am going to do with the formats when I find them, I'm going to put all the books together and we're going to have one complete book. In YouTube's description, I have some of those books already done, and they're noted that way. There's a few other videos that you might be interested in, like Jesus defines what is Holy Spirit. The format I have above my head here, explaining a little bit about it, I'll show it to you here. I'm looking for 2 words that are necessary to make up the verse. Okay, and this is a 4 verse, which means this and then this, the comma and a period make a sentence. Okay, and then it repeats itself again. So you can see that I've got 2 major words, and then this is a format, or this is the 4-verse format. Now this is when I added words, because usually you need to have what year the king is, or the story is about in that year for that king. And this actually makes a small paragraph. Now what I have here is highlighted text that I'm not sure, but I know it doesn't go with the story here, but it might be a piece that goes with other stories from Ezekiel. And if it's important enough, I'll still save it and maybe add it to someplace else, because here we're talking about in Judah. So that has already happened. I've already done those. I'm kind of working in reverse, because the text that I absolutely can trust is the ones that I've done. And then that way, if I think that there's something, if I was working it the other way, it would be the fact that I might say that this is true at this time and then learn it's false later. So that's how I'm doing this and why I'm doing it this way. But what happens is when I get another group together, and these two seem to connect together. They make a larger paragraph. So what I do is I put like a double space between them and say that these two group together to make a larger paragraph. Now I honor and respect our Creator by using all capital letters when it's of His possession or of His words that have been said. And this is the first green text in Ezekiel, and usually the green text I note is an angel, but it is a male, and his appearance of brightness is like glowing metal. Now I've witnessed 3 of these beings, and I know they helped me out. So they were sent by our Creator. The angels are beings that have wings, and they are pure white beings. Okay, so just to let you know the difference here. And he's having this vision. I had to add the word vision here because he's going to take them to Jerusalem, and he's going to show them a wall, and walls around the courtyard where the seats are located for the priests along the wall. I know that this is true because our Creator in the Sinai had them camp around by birth order, the 12 sons, around his tent for meeting with him. Starting on the south side would be the older, and then the younger would be at the top. Let me see here. 12 tribes. Okay. That should come up. So what you're seeing is these 3 sons would have been the eldest, and then these 3 would have been the youngest. Okay. So that's how you know the birth order. The correct birth order is what you see here, not that's what you learned in the Bible. They couldn't change the way people were living on the land. So this is what I found, which is a long story as well, which is good. That's a good start to say that I can find this much text. Okay. And he's talking about those that are meditating towards the south. Now, I added the word meditating, but I think they had the word setting. So this just is a way of me saying that the word was there and this was close enough to say it. You won't find it in the original text. But there are people that meditate to have sex with a so-called female goddess, and they are the ones editing the Bible. And then you can see in the live chat, if you put that up on YouTube, you'll see that it'll pop up, and I have a link there that you can click on the 1611 preface and see the words written by the translators. And I pretty much have it highlighted, showing you some of the things that should alert you to know that the good guys are not editing the Bible. Now, with that in mind, that is what I'm proving here, is the first writers wrote in this format, and then they used the text to, what would I say, start rewriting it for their God. Jesus tells us that's what they're going to do after he was leaving, after he ascended into heaven. They actually had started before then. So from the king's list that I've already made from our Creator's hidden formats, this king here put his carved image of the goddess into our Creator's house. So what we have is Ezekiel being a prophet at this time, for the simple fact that, let me see here, let me just pull it up, I just took it down. And he brought me to the back of the house, and I looked and saw a hole in the wall, and then he told me to dig through it. I dug through it, and he said, "What do you see? Go in and see their evil idols that they brought in here." So this is meaning that they stuck their idols in our Creator's meeting room. Okay. And I figured out there's this many priests. To say there's 12 priests, the main priests for the tribes. They probably have 2 assistants each, and then the high priest. So you have 37 is how I got to the number of priests for the tribe of Israel. And they're all now being onto the female goddess. So this is what they were doing. He was seeing they were doing. So this is the evilness that's going on. They have now are against our Creator's commandments by following another God. And the agreement our Creator made with them under the 12 commandments. And the 12 commandments, I'm not sure, whoops, not that one, this one. The 12 commandments are in Exodus 20, verses 1 through 17, and you can see they're listed here. And I've corrected the text, and the italic words are the words that I needed to add. But you needed a sin offering to be forgiven if you did not obey one of these sins. So this is 12 sins. But the agreement is that if they obey these 12 commandments, our Creator will not cast them out from him. So this is the reason why they're being cast out from the land. The king's list that I've got here, I showed you at this time. This is Judah's side. This is Israel's side, and Israel has now already gone into captivity at this time in this chapter, because we also have stories about the last king and what's going to happen at his time. And it seems that this prophecy that's being said at this time is for all these kings to pay attention and repent and don't do that. So this guy was no standing priest or a king, so he really tried to get him back on track. And we'll learn that in the book of Kings, I believe. So what I'm going to do is I do a lot of talking to myself, because what I'm doing is recording for history of my thinking and my understanding of the text. Our Creator made me see him 8 times. There's a video in the description below. Maybe I should put that up. So proof of afterlife, how to visit the abyss. This video, if a male does this, they will know that our Creator has sent me, and you are witnessing prophecy, true prophecy, by the way. Jesus is prophesying. So now I'm going to just start talking and explaining what I'm doing. If you have a question, put it in the comments. I'm not really fast at getting to them because YouTube doesn't do a great job of letting me know when you write something. It's supposed to, but maybe I don't have enough followers that it happens for me as like it does for others. When he cried out in my hearing with a loud voice, saying, "Draw near, executioners of the city." Now, this is the end of this. No, maybe it's not the end. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Because all this here is being said like this. And they provoked him repeatedly, so he will be likewise in his wrath. His eyes will not pity them, nor will he spare them. Although they will cry out to him, he will not listen to them. So now what they're going to do is they're going to try to put in a part of a vision that is kind of related to the stories above. I don't know how truthful everything is, but what I will do is I will first have to find the format and go from there, because here it's then he cried out, then he called out. And I like putting ones like this to make sure that the word, meaning he shouted type of thing. So here I'm adding this word and getting rid of this word. In this, I'm using as green, as he is green text, called out. And of course he heard that, so he would have known that. So this doesn't need to be said with a loud voice. So he called out, that's the shouting part I was talking about. So what I've got here is a comma to go here and the end of the sentence here. And you can see how I'm connecting the two words here. I got called and I got then. I got loud a voice, okay? So as you can see, I got to get rid of one word here and maybe just keep arranging words around here. Draw near would be come near. Executioners of the city. Now, what it is I'm trying to think of all the text that I've done in Ezekiel so far. And we're talking about Jerusalem as cities, but it's going to be about the land and everybody on it. So let me see if this, because I was thinking this text here was not about Jerusalem that I can remember. So let me check to make sure. Teachers for Judah. Yeah, okay, yeah, this was, yeah, wow, I've got that wrong. They're in Jerusalem here, okay? So, in this prophecy is happening 50 years plus before it happens. So, then he called out with a loud voice, because that's just repeating what's been there. So, draw near, executioners of Judah. This would have to be the land Judah. It's just not the city. Actually, well, it could be. Well, if it is, I would still use the word Jerusalem. So let me put that in here to start with. And I use a small capital or small letter when it's evil city. So if you watch the last video, you get a real good understanding. In that video, you have to go probably halfway through to find where I'm doing text, because chapter 7 was completely thrown out. For the city Jerusalem. So this is changing this word. Draw near. I need the word and here, and executioners, and Then with a loud voice, draw near. I guess I don't need the word, but it's not reading as smooth as I'd like here. If I do this draw near, it's come executioners. I don't need this verse if I can use this verse here. Then I'm short this. And are we going to know? I guess I don't know whether this is going to be needed. So let me put a space here. Each with his destroying weapon. For Jerusalem is to be destroyed. By the weapons in your hand. Okay, so I'm adding this, getting rid of this. Added this. Added this, added this. Okay, now I can get rid of this. Whoops, not that way. Not that way. This way. Now I've got a period and a comma and a period. Come executioners, for Jerusalem is to be destroyed by the weapons in your hands. And 4 men came now let's see here. There is no such thing as an upper gate. So this, when he's talking to him in the above prophecy, he starts out by lifting me up and showed me, and I had to put the east gates. They had 2 gates for the entrance. So they're by the east entrance, and he shows them the walls of the courtyard where they're located. When he is placed to sit down, he sees through the ungated entrance towards his house, is the way I've got the text being written here. And he saw the priest by his altars sacrificing. So the thing here is actually a sacrificing, according to our creator, is supposed to happen outside. So this is the pagan way of offering on the altar. They're sacrificing on the altar. Then he's got him brought to the back of his house, because the back of his house is where the meeting room for our Creator is at. The first part has the plates, the knives, the utensils, and things that they would use, maybe even putting the shovels in there, and having shelves for the plates, and their robes would be there, and their horns would be there. So that area is first when you walk in, and then his meeting room is in the other end. And when he goes through, he's coming through this back wall, but not in the middle, because we know that the chest is in the middle. The two angels are kind of bowing on their knee, and then they're with their hands, they're holding the mercy seat, and our Creator appears to, or used to appear to the priest by his light above the mercy seat, and would talk to them. So just to let you know where he's digging through, look, a hole in the wall. They said dig through it. So now he's in there, and he sees these guys here on the wall. And then I think it does, oh yeah, here it is. Then he brought me out inside the courtyard, and they were meditating towards the sunrise. So now he is supposed to be in the courtyard. Okay. I just needed that summary really good to say, well, four men came in. Notice they aren't angels. Came in from the gate. And this would be our Creator's gate. And it doesn't face north, it's actually the south gate. And it doesn't face anything. And four men came in from the gate. I don't think this needs to be said there. With weapons in their hands. Yeah, I'm going to add the word S here. I was just thinking that by the weapons. I think I need to put an S here as well then. So now I have four men, comma, coming where they came from, period. Here they are with their weapons. But this seems to be the end of this, and this is separate. In case you were reading along with me, I kind of have to now use this one, each with killing weapon. It's close enough that I'm saying I'm not adding the word, I'm changing a word to a better word. Each with their killing weapon in their hands. Okay, that seems to be good. Now these two go together, so that makes, now I need to find two more that would be related, and you can see how the subject is changing here. Now here, if it's a man, and these are men, he can't be among them, so it's got to be like then. Then, since I'm going to use it as a major word, I add a major word like this. Then a male, because the word man by our Creator is defined as male and female. So if you're using the word man as a secular meaning, you're following paganism, not our Creator. Clothed in, they aren't linens, they're hides. They all wore hides. Kids, hides. With a writing, it's not a case. A writing, I would say it's a pen, not a pencil. Stylus? Stylus? Okay. With a stylus. This would have to be, then appeared a male, clothed in hides, with a writing stylus. I have to put appeared. Then appeared. So this one here is going to be black text, and I'm adding it. Then a male, clothed in hides, with a writing stylus. I have to use stood. stood beside them. I guess I would rather have it that way than the altar, because the altars have pagan things going on them, so he's got to be part of the group here. Okay, so that's how I'm seeing this. Now, it went up from the cherub, which is an angel, which I don't think happens in the threshold of the temple. And he called out to the one whose lance was. This would be out. This is, then he told. This has got to be told. Told the man, which would be him, comma. And he told him, don't need any of this. We know who he is. Oops. Don't need any of this. So, then he told him, why he commanded him. No, commands him. To go through now what I'm seeing here, I got one verse, I got this as I got this is to say here, go through the courtyard. Even as the word then through all of Jerusalem. So he's got to go one place, then he's going to another place. But this is actually telling me that this and this goes together. Because putting a mark on the forehead, that's just a different one. So here, to go through to go this has to be the the vision that he had the priest inside the his meeting room, and then he had them also standing out in the courtyard. So if they're now just standing out in the courtyard, he's out in the courtyard. Go through. This has to be courtyard. And being it's our creator's courtyard, but the bad guys are in control, so I just want to make sure that everybody understands what courtyard that is. If I put his courtyard here, do the same thing with this. Go through the midst of the courtyard, then through all of Jerusalem. Okay, so that means somewhere I've got to find this here. Where is the other part of these two? I have to come look for it later. None of this makes sense to be added. But if I don't like repeating this. This would be one of the rare times that it seems to be oh, I did that wrong. I wanted to copy that. I wanted to place it here. With a writing stylus, YV commands him. Okay, that's not the way I like it, because I 99% of the time I get rid of a double like that. But there's no other words that I can use to put there, and they're good enough, I guess. Go through the midst of his courtyard. And if I put the word "and" here down here, it reads a little smoother. And then through all of Jerusalem. And put a mark. And put a mark on the foreheads of just not men, has to be male and females. So on the foreheads of man. Now these are our creator's words. So, but he's saying them, so I'll make them green. Just for me to know what I'm doing next time here. Or later when I'm editing it. Okay. And is needed again. and they're not sighing, and who are let's see what they have for sighing here. This is verse 4. It's an awfully long one. I'm in 9:4. Sigh. Okay, now here, notice that they got the word sigh, but they're also using it for groan. And when I click on this word, means groan just 4 times. I would say complaining and groaning. Complaining. Complaining and groaning, and I'm going to say that I'm adding that. Or complaining and groaning. They're complaining and groaning. I don't need the word over. Who are complaining and groaning of all if all the evilness. That's what it is. Put evilness here. Evilness is to be against our Creator. So this, I added this of all the evilness. Got to have the mark on the forehead. So in all. But it's got to be not, and not who are complaining and groaning. So he has to divide the two. Well, wait a second. He's putting a mark. I thought he was putting a mark on those that are evil. I was going to say, but I need the word for to describe how many they are. But to the 4, he said, no, he commanded. This, I got to have him doing it in the corridor. But it's got to be saying who he didn't mark. So that's what I've got. That's what I'm confused about here. If I put the word not complaining, put a mark on the foreheads of men who are not complaining and groaning of all the evilness, but to the four he commanded. Then to the four he commanded go throughout the and Jerusalem. So I don't need this. I got to add this. I'm adding this. Added this. The courtyard in Jerusalem. Strike is to kill. And kill the others. Kill the others. Kill the unmarked. That reads better. That gets to the point. Now it needs two more here. Utterly slay. Let's see. Utterly. killed. Okay, that does not help me much. If I use do not, no, I'd have to say do not spare any, so this is out. Kill like a slaughtering. That's odd because this would break to a 3 verse. But these are males. This would have to be every. Well, let me tell you, Wesley, you're in for a surprise. Our Creator made me see him 8 times. For 30 years, I've been doing this to the Bible, and I'm finding the first writer's formats. The first writer's formats look like this, where I have one word here and one word here, and I complete it with the least about as small words as I can for a verse. In a 4-verse grouping, I have a comma and a period, and a comma and a period. Now, what you're seeing here is actually this is a group or a small paragraph, and that grouping repeats itself for another paragraph, and then these two together make a paragraph. You've never seen any writing like this. And if you think I can pick this out when I'm putting this into the text, you're not following along correctly. But what I do is put a double space between, and then it repeats again the same format. In a 3-verse format, it's a little bit different. And by the way, it says, okay, let me show you the King James, since you're this is the text of the 1611 preface. Okay, and this are the translator's words, and they say Gregory is the divine. Got it? Gregory is the divine. That's in the King James Version, okay? They were glad and happy that the first emperor corrected the calendar and ordered it to the course of the sun being capitalized. The sun is the Ra, the sun god. So what was the calendar that they were going by? No, the mark of the beast is when people sit and meditate to have sex with a so-called female goddess. A male's maleness retracts inside his body. Now here I want to mention one more thing here. This is what they wrote about what your lastly and the end reward for the studying thereof. The text that you're going to read in the Bible is just to have a fellowship with saints and participation of a heavenly nature. Okay? Now, when I just got done saying that a male's maleness retracts inside its body. This is on the Vatican wall. This is in the zodiac signs, okay? This is the mark of the beast, okay? Now here, let's look at the Islamic Muhammad's horse that he rode on has a female goddess here. And here the church is trying to make Mary the female goddess of this moon. It's on this crescent moon day that they're meditating to have sex with the so-called goddess. Okay? Now, that's what our Creator has given me to know. So if I sit here and show you verse in Malachi, which says, Malachi 2:11, Judah, this is the nation, has married the daughter of a foreign god. The foreign god is Ra. The daughter has to be a goddess, the moon goddess. How do you marry? You sit and meditate. No, you just don't understand what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Here, let me show you there are 3 times that you can have sex with the moon goddess. These are the 3 names in the Bible that is for her, okay? It's the left-handed crescent moon that you see here. Here's a picture of an old Bible from the 1800s. On this crescent moon day, this is them corrupting the text. If I put up Psalms here on the side, you can see that those are actually revealing Jesus' words there. So the thing here is Jesus didn't show me anything. Our Creator shows me. So it's like no time to talk Allah, but you don't understand prophecy. Just remember, this is Jesus's prophecy. Do you know who the helper is? What he is supposed to do? Okay. Do you? Because I do. Here are all the words about the helper. Okay. This is in one format. This is in another format. Okay. So this is what you have to fulfill to be the helper. And I am the helper. I witnessed, our Creator made me witness Jesus exists. And if you didn't know about those that are meditating and having sex with the female goddess, then how do you explain this here? The translators writing Gregory is the divine. Okay? So just to let you know that you are definitely wrong. So let me get back to prophecy here and reveal what I know about our Creator's truthful words and about Jesus. Utterly slay every male children and women. Now see, this has to be a comma and this has to be the period. So this tells me this has to be a period, and I've got to use this text here. Do not spare them, comma, utterly I added this unmarked, and do not spare them Now I have to go back to this text here again and say, whoops, this is, yeah, utterly slays the words here. So this has to be, let's see, if I use the word strike to kill them, because slay was to mean kill, right? Kill 45 times, so this word can be switched out. I need the word and here. Strike and kill. Yeah. Now I have a 4-verse grouping. Do not touch any male. Wow. Pardon me. Do not touch any man on whom has a mark. Any man whom is the mark. Well, and go throughout the courtyard in Jerusalem and kill the unmarked. Do not spare them, strike and kill every male, children and women. Start. Yeah, it's going to be this way because it'll show up here. Start in his courtyard. Start in his courtyard. So they started the priests. So, but I need the word and. They started with the priest. For his house. Well, this is going to be black text. This is going to be his words. So this is going to be, his words are going to be like that. This is, that guy's still saying these words. So this seems to be a period. This wants to be a comma. This wants to be a period. So I've got to say this is going to be used on whom is the mark. Start in his courtyard. And they started with the priest before his house. Then you want out. He's already commanding and demanding this. And since this is a group, this is the end of what happened. I'm not liking it. I'm seeing that there's a paragraph missing because down here, these two go together really good. Those two go together good. So why am I finding this? This has to be, but see this. This group is got to come down here. These groups are going to get changed around. So how is this happening? Then they went out and struck down people in Jerusalem. Okay, so there is Jerusalem. Then he said to them, then he said to the four, go out and they struck down mankind in Jerusalem. Okay. This, they can't be alone because he said not to put a mark on those that were not following mankind's practice. Now this is a little late. Okay, so he didn't return. This is something that we already have pretty much said. But I got two parts here. So where am I finding the other part? If I'm looking for how this is tied, and I'm not seeing how that's tied in this text, enough to have 4 verses. But if then he said to me, this would not be right. perversion is too much of a, this would be the word uncleanness back in their day, not in English vocabulary like today. So I'm looking at, how do I put, then he said to me, the sins of the tribes. But this is, they are already gone. If they're going out of this, I don't like any of this, I guess. I'm just going to have to say that here, verse is missing. Now this will be a cleanup time. Yeah, that sounds like a good group. Then this would be 2. This would be 1. This would be a space. Oh. So these don't have to be here. I thought I was getting different breaking points here. 1, 2. So there's 2 there. 1, 2. 2 there. 1, 2 there. 2 there. And okay, that would be the end. Okay, now I have to go through and I got to color that text to show that, but I'm not going to edit that text right now, but I'm going to go back and do now chapter 10. Okay. Then I looked and beheld a expanse that was over the heads of the angels. Some are like saffron stone appearance. Something like saffron stone. In appearance just seems to be stuck out there. An appearance resembling the throne appeared above them. Now, this is going to, they're just trying to put stuff into this to tie him with this as like this story is going to continue. His job's already done. Scatter them over the city, and he entered in my sight. So if he's going to scatter them over the city, then why did he go over already, and why did the other guy command him to do what he's supposed to be doing? So this seems like this text is not going to make it. The glory of the Lord went up from the cherubim. Our creator was, I guess he was riding on an angel's back. So, like the voice of God Almighty, well, God is a title, Almighty is another title. So we have two titles here. And that is, he speaks to, as we learned with Moses, he spake to him like one speaks to a friend. Now he's back in there and he's going to take that stuff. Then he takes off. Now we get to find out how the cherubim had hands, which the angels have hands. Their wings are attached on their back. What's so special about all these wheels and stuff? They're really trying to make it sound like this is important. But I thought this was to talk about destruction here. But no, they're just having a description of things that, well, now they can hear the wheels whirling. Now we're getting could have had their appearance earlier. Oh, like the ones he saw before while I threw them out. Notice there's nothing really being said here. And it didn't make it a second time either. Okay, there is nothing in that one. There's 25 verses here, so this is going to be a separate video and not two of them together, because this one only took me an hour and a half. But if I was to do this, it would have been probably 2.5 hours. But this has only got 25. This one's got 28. There's too many to back, so I'm going to have to divide those up. But for a recap, I guess, I just need to save this, put this down, whoops, bring up the other text, and say, that's some nice text that we got today, because it's continuing the story. So, like I said, I've got like 6 chapters that are together, and now I'm starting to get another group, I think, of 3 chapters together. That's good, because the better the story sticks together, it's easier to piece together and say at what time this is happening. But because of what the story is, the prophecy coming from this timeline by Ezekiel. So that's where the order of this text is going to go in. So we're going to have Isaiah and then Ezekiel. And I think in the Bible they put Ezekiel before Isaiah. No, they put Isaiah before Ezekiel. Yeah, they did that. But no, they put Jeremiah before Ezekiel, and that isn't true. But anyways, that's going to be it for right now. Maybe I get another one in later today. But for right now, I'm going to say that's the end of this video. And stop, share, discuss, but not like that guy. He just not willing to understand what prophecy is. We Christians do kind of run away quick.